Here I have shredded cabbage, shredded carrots, and chopped cilantro, and 1 chopped onion, and also shredded higama. If you haven't had higama before, it's a slightly sweet flavor and it's a crossover between apples and potatoes. And 2 pounds of ground pork. You can use either ground chicken or ground turkey also. And then bean thread noodles. I soak it in hot water for a few minutes and then I rinse it under cold water, and then I use a scissor to cut about 2 or 3 inches just so it'd be shorter to work with. But if you don't have a scissor, you can go ahead and also use a knife. Some oyster sauce, some sea salt and black pepper, 2 eggs and 1 egg yolk. And for the egg whites from the 1 egg yolk, I just pour it onto the 2 eggs. And in the largest bowl that you have, you just want to start adding all your fillings. And then I have my my noodles, and then I'm going to add in the pork, and then the higama and the onions, and then the shredded cabbage and the carrots, and then the cilantro, and then your 2 egg yolks, and then the oyster sauce, and then the salt along with the black pepper. And then with clean hands, you just want to start mixing everything. If you don't want to use your hands, bare hands, you can go ahead and just also use gloves. And this will take a minute or 2, maybe a little longer. And then after a couple good minutes of mixing, this is how it should look like. This is the Eggo wrapper that I love to use. There's so many kinds out there, so many different ones. You guys can go ahead and choose whichever one you guys prefer, but this is just the one that I always get. And then they are sticky to each other. They do stick to each other, so I'm just gonna start peeling them. Just, slowly. Just like that. And then I'm just going to continue peeling the rest of my Eggo wrappers. Now that I'm done peeling them, I'm going to start filling them up. And then with 1 piece of Eggo wrappers, I'm just going to start grabbing some of the fillings. And then I'm not going to put directly right into the center. I'm going to put it a little bit more toward me. Okay. It depends on how much you like it, how much filling you like. And then I'm just going to grab 1 corner. I'm going to roll it up, tucking it in, and then roll it up again. And then with the 2 edge, I'm just going to fold them in. And then this part right here, if you want, you can leave them as is. But I normally like to kind of fold it in a little bit. And then you just want to keep rolling it up all the way toward the edge. And then once you get to this part right here, you just want to seal it with your egg yolk. There we go. And then just keep going all the way up. Just like that. And then I'm just going to continue rolling the rest of my egg rolls. In your deep fryer, or if you're doing it on the stove top, heat some oil until it's nice and hot. And then I'm going to place in my egg rolls onto the basket since I'm using the deep fryer. And I'm just gonna do about 6 at a time. And then I'm just going to drop it in. I'm going to cook them for about 13 to 14 minutes or until golden brown and cook through. When the egg rolls are done cooking, remove to a paper lined plate or strainer and repeat the process. Let's go over the ingredients for the sauce. Here I have 1 cup of chicken broth and also hoisin sauce. And then I have peanut butter, minced garlic, minced Thai chili pepper, lime juice, and also sugar. In a small pot on medium low, I have the chicken broth, and I'm going to add in the hoisin sauce. And give it a quick stir. And then you want to cook this for about a minute or 2. Okay, and then after a couple minutes, I'm going to add in the peanut butter. And then the garlic. And then also the Thai chili pepper, if you're using it. And then also the sugar. And then you just want to give it a mix to combine. And then you want to cook this for about a minute and then turn off the stove. Once the sauce is nice and thick, give it another stir. Pour in the lime juice, taste for seasoning, but for me, this is perfect. Here is the end results and the best part, the taste test. Now let's dig right on in and see how it is, you guys. This looks so good and I'm so hungry. Okay, and then I have my my dip right here. Okay, here we go. Here you go. Cheers. You guys, that is so delicious. Like, no words can explain how delicious it is. You know, it is crispy, it is meaty, it is noodly. Don't know if that's even a word, but it is delicious. In the sauce, delicious. If you guys would like to give this recipe a try, the measurements are in the description box down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye. Add some water. And then I'm just going to rinse it about 3 times, or sometimes you might have to do about maybe another, you know, extra 5 or 6 times, just so until the water runs clear. You don't have a rice cooker, then you can, of course, always use a stove top too. And then I'm just going to continue doing this for another 2 more times. And then when the water runs clear, with your index finger, the first line, you want to measure out the water level. And then you just want to pop it into the rice cooker and then close the lid and then turn on the power And there are 4 buttons, and the one I'm clicking on is white rice, and this will take about 40 minutes. Here I have a Spam, and I'm just going to dice it. They're like about a 1/4 inch thick. And I'm just going to work with them 2 at a time. You can do 1 at a time, 3 at a time, or even 4 at a time. Depends on how you can handle them. And this is the thickness. Okay, and then I have 2 green onions. And I'm also just going to chop them up. And if you don't have green onions or you don't like green onions, you can go ahead and also use just a regular onion. Over medium heat in my wok, I'm just going to add some oil. And then when it's nice and hot, I'm just going to add in 2 eggs. And then you want to let it sit and cook for about 5 to 10 seconds. And then you just want to push them up to the side and let it cook for about a couple minutes until it's nice and scrambled. After a couple minutes, you want to remove the eggs onto a clean plate and set aside. In the same wok, I'm just going to add in some more oil. And then I'm just going to add in the diced Spam. And then I'm just going to give it a quick stir. And you want to cook this for about 8 to 10 minutes or until it's nice and charred the way you like it. I'm just going to give it a stir. And then once it's nice and charred, I'm going to add in the mixed vegetables. And then you'll want to cook this for about 5 minutes. And then now I'm just going to add in the rice. Just going to break it up a little bit. And then I'm going to add in the soy sauce. The oyster sauce, the sriracha, and then this is garlic powder and onion powder. And you can go ahead and use fresh garlic and onions if you prefer. And then I'm also going to add in the eggs. And then you just want to give them all a nice stir to combine. And I cooked my rice earlier this morning and I let it sit out for about 6 hours before using. If you can, I would suggest to use cold rice from the day ahead. But if you don't have any time, then you can go ahead and just cook the same day. But I would suggest to let it sit out at room temperature for at least a good, 5 to 6 hours before using, because if you use it right away after cooking the rice, it's still really hot and then it'll be really mushy, and that wouldn't be any fun. And then you just want to cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes. Here is the end result and the best part, the taste test. Now let's dig right on in and see how it is, you guys. Okay. I'm so excited because I'm so hungry, you guys. Alright, let's go for this bite here. Get a little bit of everything. Oh man. This is so good, you guys. You guys, that was so delicious. You got the sweet, the spicy, the salty, everything was perfect. If you guys would like to give this recipe a try, the measurements will be in the description box down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye. Hello everyone, today's menu will be pork belly stir fry. It is so delicious and so flavorful, so if you're ready, let's get cooking. In this small bowl right here, I have some honey, and I'm going to add in some Korean hot pepper paste. It just kind of depends on how spicy I like it that day. Today I'm just probably gonna do maybe just a couple tablespoons. Okay. And then here I have some soy sauce. And then just a little bit of some lime juice. You can use lemon juice too if you want. I'm just going to mix it up to combine well. And if you don't have a Korean hot pepper paste, you can go ahead and use sriracha too. Okay, and then I'm just going to set this to the side until ready to use. Okay, now we're going to work with some vegetables, and here I have half of a medium onion, and I'm just going to chop it up. If you want, you can go ahead and use a whole onion, but for today, I'm just going to use half of a medium onion. And you can use whichever onion you prefer. I'm just going to set this to the side. And then I'm going to work with my green onions. I'm going to cut off the ends. And then I'm just going to slice them up diagonally about 2 inches. And then just set it aside. Pick that one up. And then here we have some bell pepper. And these are 2 red bell peppers. I already cored them and took out the seeds and rinsed them. And then I'm just going to thinly slice them. You can use whichever bell peppers that you prefer. You could use a green one or the yellow one too, or the orange one. But I have the red one, so this is the one I'm going to be using today. Just gonna place that back onto the plate. I love using the multicolor bell pepper just because they taste a little bit sweeter for me. But the green onions, of course, I love that one also. Just not as much as the multicolor. And then we're gonna work on some pork belly. I have about a pound of pork belly here. I already chopped some up over here, but we're gonna work with this one. I'm just gonna cut it in half. And then I'm just going to cut them into thin strips. Just like this. You can go thinner if you want, or you know, if you want, you can go ahead and just cut them in bigger chunks. But for this dish, I'm gonna make it thin. I love eating pork belly. It's one of my favorite cuts of meats. Maybe not the best cuts of meats, but it is delicious, you guys. If you never had pork belly before, definitely should give this recipe a try. You won't be disappointed. And if you don't have pork belly on hand and you can't find it anywhere, then you can go ahead and just use any pork. Like pork shoulder, pork butts. Still gonna taste delicious. That should be good. Okay, now that my pan is nice and hot, I'm just gonna add a couple tablespoons of oil. And then we're gonna add in the pork. And then you'll want to cook this for about 5 minutes. Okay, after 5 minutes, we're going to add in the sauce that we made earlier. Just gonna give it a quick mix. Just pour that all over. And then just going to mix it up. And then you want to continue cooking for another 10 more minutes. And then after 10 minutes, I'm just going to add in the onions. Along with some garlic powder. And just a little bit of salt. And then some black pepper. I'm just going to mix it up to combine. You guys, this smells so good. Okay, at this point, I'm going to cover it. Okay, it's been about 8 minutes. I'm just going to give it a quick stir. And then at this point, I'm going to add in the bell peppers. And then I'm just going to add in a little bit of water. Then mix them up. Okay, and then I'm just going to close the lid and continue cooking. I did cook it for 25 minutes total, and now I'm going to add in some green onions. Give it a quick stir. So yeah, like I said, I did cook it for 25 minutes total, and then I did add more water. Cook for another 2 more minutes, and then we are ready to serve. Here is the end results and the best part, the taste test. Now let's dig right on in and see how it is, you guys. All right, there we go. Delicious. Let me try get the peppers. Here we go. Let's see. This is so good. So flavorful, you guys. Perfect amount of sweetness, saltiness, spiciness. It is perfect, you guys. If you guys would like to give this recipe a try, the measurements are in the description box down below. Make sure you guys go and check that out, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye. Hello everyone, today's menu will be spring rolls with peanut butter dipping sauce. These are so easy to make and are packed with fresh veggies and the perfect amount of proteins with a delicious creamy sauce. So if you're ready, let's get cooking. There's so many types of vermicelli noodles out there, and I just want to show you guys my favorites. I like using this one, and I also like using this red one. Normally when I buy them, I like using, this is the one I'm using today. This is the one I'm using today because this one is a little bit thinner, the noodles. And this one, I normally use this one when I'm making capon, which is like a curry dish. And this one just a little bit, tad bit thicker than the yellow one. So yeah, these are the two that I like using all the time. One for a certain dish and the other one's for a certain dish. But yeah, you guys go ahead and, you know, either pick these up or you can go ahead and, you know, pick your favorites. And then I'm going to set these aside for a second. And then I want to show you guys the one I'm using today, the rice paper. This is the Three Ladies. I like using this one because I just been, you know, using this since I was, you know, growing up. So this is like kind of like a favorite brand of mine. But you know what? You use your favorites. And they do have two different sizes. They do have this larger one, which I'm using today. And then they also do have one that is a little bit smaller. I'm not sure how big the other one is, but if you put them together, you will be able to tell which one's bigger and which one's smaller. On top of that, the bigger one, it doesn't have a lot in there. The quantity is less compared to the smaller one. It has a little bit more. But yeah, if you compare them two together at the grocery store, then you'll be able to tell which one's bigger and which one's smaller. But this is the one I'm using today, the bigger size, because you can, you know, pack on more veggies and more meats in there, and it's easier to roll compared to the smaller one. But yeah, this is the one that I like using, and this one I always get, the Three Lady brand. You want to bring a pot of water to a boil, and when it's boiling, you want to add in your shrimp. And then you just want to cook it for a few minutes. After about 3 or 4 minutes, I'm just going to remove them. And then in the same pot of water, I'm going to add in some salt. And then I'm going to place in the pork. And you just want to cook this until it's cooked through. And then you want to bring another pot of water to a boil, and when it's boiling, you want to add in your noodles. And then you just want to cook it until it's nice and softened, and then you want to drain and then run it under cold water. Okay, and then I'm going to start chopping up the vegetables. Just going to cut off the ends. And then it just depends on how long your carrots is. And this one is pretty long, so I'm going to cut it into 3s. And then I just want to cut off a little bit of the edge right here, just so it'd be a flat surface for me to put it flat down. And then I'm just going to julienne the carrots, but you can go ahead and buy a pre-shredded bag if you prefer. Okay, and then now we're going to work with the cucumbers, and I'm just going to cut the edge off. And then about the same as the carrots, depending on how big your carrots is, I'm going to cut this into 4s. And then I'm just going to cut it a little bit of the edge off to be a flat surface. I normally like to use English cucumber, but they didn't have it when I went to the grocery store, so this is fine too, you know. And then I'm also going to julienne the cucumbers too. And then I'm just going to cut the shrimps into halves. You can go ahead and leave them whole if you wish. And then I'm just going to thinly slice the pork belly. I do have some warm water here, and I'm going to dip in rice paper. And then you just want to, you know, let it sit in there for a few seconds and just rotating it around a circle until it gets a little softened. And then after a few seconds, you just want to drain off the excess liquids and then put it onto a cutting board. And then just fix it until you have a nice smooth surface. Okay. Alright, this looks good. I'm going to add in the lettuce. Depend on how much lettuce you like. Okay. And then some cilantro. If you don't care for the stem, you can of course take it out, but I like it. And then just some carrots. Okay. And then some cucumbers, depending on how much you like. And then some noodles. I like a lot of noodles, so I'm putting a lot on mine. And then just some mint leaves right on top. And then some pork. And then you want to add in your shrimp. And then you want to start from one side and just roll it up like you're rolling an egg roll. Okay, and then I'm gonna tuck one side in, and then tuck the other side in. Okay, and then you want to add in your chives. And just keep rolling it down. Just like that. And some lettuce. And I'm going to add in some cilantro and some carrots, cucumbers, noodle, depending on how much noodles you like, and then some pork, and then some shrimp. And then you just want to add in some chives if you're using any. And then just slowly roll it up. Just like that. On medium low, I have some pork broth, and this is just the broth from when I was making the pork belly. And I'm going to add in some hoisin sauce. I'm going to give it a quick stir. And then you just want to cook this for about 2 minutes. Okay, after 2 minutes, I'm going to add in some peanut butter. And then some sugar. And then some garlic. And this is just minced garlic. Then you just want to stir it up to combine. And then you just want to cook it for about another minute or 2. And then you also want to taste for seasoning. Here is the end results of the spring rolls with peanut butter dipping sauce. I hope you'll give this recipe a try. The measurements are in the description box down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye! Hello everyone, today's menu will be chicken taquitos. It is so delicious and the perfect Mexican comfort foods. So if you're ready, let's get cooking. I love eating Mexican foods, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of my favorites, taquitos. Make sure to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. And here I have 2 chicken breasts, and I'm going to place them onto this casserole dish. And I already did spray a little bit of olive oil to coat the bottom. And then I'm going to season it with just some salt. And then some black pepper. If you want, you can save some time and just buy rotisserie chicken instead. And this is some garlic powder. And then for a little bit of heat, some cayenne pepper. And then I'm just going to flip it and do the other side too. If you don't want to bake it, you can go ahead and just boil it too. But today I feel like I want to bake them. Okay, now they are ready to go into the oven. And while the chicken is cooking, here I have 1 small onion that I'm going to cut it into smaller pieces. You can use 1 onion, half an onion, or you could even use, 3 onions if you like. It just depends on how much onions you like. And I'm just going to dice them up. But if you don't like onions, of course, you can definitely just omit it. But onions definitely does give it a better flavor and better taste. You can also use green onions too if you like. Okay, I'm just going to set this aside. And then here I have 2 Roma tomatoes. You can use beefsteak tomatoes or baby tomatoes. But for today, I'm going to use Roma. And then I'm just going to cut the ends off and just, cut it into smaller pieces. And you can use as many tomatoes as you like to. But 2 tomatoes are good for me. And if you want to save some time, you can go ahead and just buy the canned diced tomato too. Okay, and then we're going to set this aside for now. I baked the chicken for about 25-30 minutes, and then I let it cool for about 5 minutes. If you're going to shred it with your hands, then I suggest letting it cool a little bit longer until you're able to touch it. But I'm not going to use my hands. I'm going to use my hand mixture. This is one of my favorite ways to shred some chicken and cut the times in half. And you're not always gonna get 100% to be shredded. So as you can see, you know, there's like a little bit of these little small chunks. That's when you just go in with your hands and just quickly shred them. But you know, it does do a pretty good job though. Okay, on medium heat, I'm going to add in some oil. And this is about probably a tablespoon. And then I'm going to add in the vegetables. It's been about 6 minutes and I'm just going to stir it. And then I'm going to add in the shredded chicken. And then here I have some chicken bouillon. And then here I have some garlic powder and some black pepper. And then I'm also going to add in some cumin and oregano. Just going to give it a good mix to combine. And then you'll want to cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes. You'll want to taste for seasoning. If you need to add more chicken bouillon or some more salt, then go ahead. But for me, this is perfect. I do like it a little spicy, so I'm just going to add in a little bit more cayenne pepper. And then you just want to turn off the stove and move it from the heat. You'll want to heat your griddle to about 250 degrees. And if you don't have a griddle, you can go ahead and just use a nonstick skillet too. And then I'm just going to heat these tortillas up for about 15 to 30 seconds per side, or until you're able to roll them without breaking it. And then you just want to repeat the process. I'm just going to add some of the meat mixture onto the tortilla. You can use as much or as little as you will like. And then we're just going to roll them up. Just like that. You just want to continue the process until there is no more meat mixture or tortilla, whichever one comes first. And then on a skillet, you'll want to add some oil. Now that my pan is nice and hot, I'm going to slowly drop in the rolled tacos. And you want to make sure that the slit part is facing down. It's been about 3 minutes. I'm just going to turn them to cook the other side. And then you want to cook this for another 2 or 3 more minutes, or until it's nice and golden brown. They are ready to be removed. And then I am going to place them on top of a plate lined with paper towel, just to drain some excess oil. Then you just want to continue cooking the rest of them until there is no more taquitos to fry. Here is the end results and the best part, the taste test. Now let's dig right on in and see how it is, you guys. Okay. There's really no pretty way of eating this, so I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, here we go. Perfect, you guys. So good. You guys, that was so delicious. It was crunchy, crispy, and the flavor and texture was on point. If you guys would like this recipe, I will have the measurements in the description box down below. Make sure you guys go and check that out, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye. Showing you guys the ingredients that I'll be using today. Here we have 1 pound of ground beef, bacon, 1 block of cheddar cheese, 1 bag of Tater Tots, this is 2 pounds, and a can of cheddar cheese soup, ranch seasoning, heavy cream, you want yellow onion, and I'm going to be adding a little bit of cayenne pepper, but if you don't like any spice, you can go ahead and omit that. Let's get baking. First thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 375 degrees, and then I'm just going to line the bacons flat onto a baking sheet lined with foil, and then you can also use parchment paper too if you wish. And then I'm just going to bake it for about 10 to 15 minutes, depending the size of your bacons. So make sure you keep an eye on that, and you just want to be golden brown and crispy. While the bacons is baking, I'm just gonna start cutting up the onion, and then I'm just gonna chop them into smaller pieces. If 1 onion is too much, you can always, of course, use half of an onion. But I do love eating onions, so I'm going to do 1 small onion. Okay, just going to set this aside. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to shred my cheese. You can go ahead and use the pre-shredded one too if you prefer. Sometimes I just prefer shredding my own cheese. So this is 2 cups, 8 ounce. And you can always use whichever cheese that you prefer too. You could like switch it up, maybe half of cheddar cheese and half of mozzarella cheese. It's up to you. Okay, that looks good. And then in a small bowl, I'm going to add in the cheddar cheese soup. You want to grab every little nooks and cranny out of that can. And then I'm going to add in heavy cream. You can use heavy cream, buttermilk, almond milk, whole milk, whichever milk that you prefer. And then I'm just going to give it a good mix to combine everything well. It's going to take about a minute or 2. And then we're just going to set it aside until we are ready to use. On medium-high heat, I'm just going to add a little bit of oil. And then I'm going to add in the onions. And then you just want to cook this until softened, about 3 to 5 minutes. The onion looks good. I'm just going to add in the ground beef. And you just want to break it up. And then I'm going to add in the ranch seasoning. And then a little bit of cayenne pepper. Like I said, you can always omit the cayenne if you don't want any heat. Just going to give it a quick stir. Okay, this looks good. And then I'm just going to cook it for about 7 to 8 minutes or until it's no longer pink. And then you'll want to remove the excess oil. In a large bowl with the drained ground beef, I'm going to add in the cheese mixture. And then I'm just going to mix them to combine. You guys, this looks and smells so delicious. Like, I can literally just eat this as is, but we're not gonna stop here. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna set this aside. Okay, here I have a 9x13 casserole dish that I already sprayed some olive oil on the side and the bottom to coat. And then I'm just going to pour some of the tops. And then I'm just going to line them up, single layer. You can go ahead and do, double layer too. It's up to you. But I'm just gonna do single layers for now. And you just fit what you can. If you have a smaller baking dish, then of course you probably might have to double layer it. But if you're using a bigger casserole, then you should be good by doing just single layer. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm going to pour in the meat mixture all over the top. And then you can just use, a spoon or a spatula, whatever you have on hand. Whichever one is the easiest for you. Just want to spread them out evenly. Okay, this looks good. And then from here, you can go ahead and add on some cheese, but I'm gonna use the rest of my tots. Just gonna pour it right on top. And then I'm just going to do my best and layer them evenly. Okay, this looks good, and I'm going to sprinkle on the cheese. I'm just going to sprinkle all over. And then we're going to sprinkle on the bacons, and I already chopped them up already. You just want to sprinkle right on top. Okay, this looks good, and it's going to go into the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes or until the cheese has melted and it's nice and bubbly on top. Here is the end results of the ranch tater tots. I hope you give this recipe a try. The measurements are in the description box down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you will get my latest videos. Bye! Hello everyone, today's menu will be creamy Fiesta skillet. It is the perfect Mexican comfort foods and it's so delicious. So if you're ready, let's get cooking. First thing we're going to do is cut the tortillas up into bite-sized pieces. And I'm just going to cut them straight down the middle. And then onto the edge. And then the other edge. Okay. And then I'm just going to go straight down the middle again. Okay, and then if you want, you could just leave them like this. This is about 2 inches. But I'm gonna go a little bit smaller. Okay, there we go. About 1 inch right here. Okay. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is work with the onion. And then I'm just going to cut this onion into smaller pieces also. And then, as always, you can use whichever onion you prefer. I love onions, but I hate cutting into them. It makes me tear up. In my large cast iron, I'm going to add in ground beef. And then I'm just going to break it up a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to toss in the onions. And then just going to stir it up a little bit. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm just gonna let this cook until it's golden brown. It's been cooking for about 10 minutes and I'm going to remove the excess oil. The same skillet, I'm going to add in some water, some sour cream, and then some picante, and then the tomato soup, then I'm just going to give it a quick mix, combine, and then we're going to add in the tortillas. Then you just want to mix it, get it all nice and coated, and then you'll want to bring this to a boil. It's starting to bubble, and then I'm going to give it a quick stir. Okay. And then I'm going to lower the temperature, and then we're going to cook it for another 3 to 4 minutes. It's been about 4 minutes. I'm going to add in the meat mixture. And then you just want to mix it to combine. Okay. Just gonna smooth it down a little bit. And then we're going to sprinkle on some cheese. And these are just the pre-shredded one. You can go ahead and shred your own cheese. Okay, and then we're going to turn off the heat. And then we're going to cover it for about 5 minutes or until the cheese has melted. Here is the end results and the best part, the taste test. Now let's dig right on in and see how it is, you guys. Okay. I do have some sour cream right on top, but I'm gonna try it without first. Ooh, look at that, so cheesy. Okay. Mmm. Mmm. This is so good, you guys. Mmm. Okay, let's go in for some sour cream. Okay, here we go. Mmm. 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 You guys, that was like so delicious, full of flavors. If you guys would like to give this recipe a try, the measurements will be in the description box down below. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Bye. Buscaba una así y por fin